Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope that wherever you're at, you're having an awesome day. And if you're not, don't worry, I'm sure your day will get better. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I'm back this time with more Storm Collectibles goodness. This is G1 Ken the Eagle. This is from a anime or an old TV show called Gatchaman in Japan, and I believe here in the US it used to be called Battle of the Planets. I am a little bit familiar with this property, but I mainly know this guy from a video game called Tatsunoko versus Capcom that came out, I think, exclusively for the Nintendo Wii here in the States. So I've been very fond of this character ever since that game. When I saw that Storm Collectibles was releasing a Ken the Eagle figure, I had to jump on it. So here it is. I did get this a while back, just getting around to reviewing it. Here it is in all its goodness in the box. It's a pretty good sized box for a small figure. My assumption is it probably has to do with all the accessories that you get with it. Really nice drawing or artwork here of the figure, Storm Collectibles, of course. Some Japanese text. I'm assuming this probably is the name of the show, Gatchaman. Ken the Eagle, of course. Same thing on this side. This is the actual figure. He actually looks pretty cool. Um, yeah, and here he is, the figure itself. I love the long cape again. These guys, there was a whole bunch of them. I think it was June the Swan and a couple other guys, but Ken the Eagle is the leader of this whole squad here. You see him there in all the different poses and the different accessories and the things you get with it. So I will open this up and give you guys a good look at it. Okay, so I've opened this up, and the reason for this box being pretty big is mainly because you get two of these cape pieces, right? So he comes in the box with this cape. I'm gonna call it cape. Could be wings, right? Him being Ken the Eagle. But these are rubber and sort of just sitting down. Whereas you do get these different options. So you get this one that's more, I guess, uh, spread out. So you can switch these capes out. These are made out of, I guess these are a little bit soft plastic. Nicely detailed. They're in a white with the blue neck piece and then red on the inside. But you do get the option of changing that. So that's one cape that you do get. And you also get this other one. So this one is more out, right? So I don't know if you could tell, this one's kind of like being spread out, whereas this one is kind of inside, right? And again, I want to say this is white. I could be a bit colorblind here, but this one's looking a bit more gray to my eyes, but could be me. You let me know. But again, it's nicely detailed. You got some little folds and little things there. The blue neck piece, and again, red on the inside. So that's a reasoning why the box is a little big for such a, I guess, smaller figure, is the two optional cape pieces that you do get with this guy. Now, putting that aside, as you guys can see, you do get a nice background. I guess it's meant to be representative of the Battle of the Planets there. So you do get the space theme one. And in the box here, I'm going to try and do this without all of these things sort of falling out. You get a whole bunch of different hands. You guys can see he's got pointing hands. He's got a hand that looks like that was made to hold a gun, perhaps, or actually it was made to hold maybe these little, I'm going to call them batarangs. I know they're not batarangs, right? I know that belongs to Batman, but this is, I guess, sort of like a little boomerang thing that he can throw at his foes. What else do you have here? Oh, you've got his little, again, boomerang thing that he can hold in the hand here. You get all these different hand options. You get these reaching out hands, these grasping hands here, if I can get them out of the packaging. And again, they're nice blue with some good detail. And as you guys can see, Oh, we'll let that fall out. You get the same thing for the other left and right hand, right? You get different head sculpt. So you get the one that comes with the figure, but then you also have this extra head here, which I will attempt to take out if I can. Here we go. And let's see if the camera can focus. Again, this one, he has the helmet on, the helmet piece. And from what I can see in there of the face, it's nicely done, right? And you can essentially pull these out and put on a new head. He's got the little back piece here on the helmet. Again, the eagle motif this is supposed to look like. But again, the paint's really nicely done. And this one, he's got a bit more of a, I guess he's kind of biting the side of his mouth. So I guess this is more of a struggling or an angry type of look. It's kind of hard to see through the plastic, but you could see it there a little bit from the side. But the expression on the face is done really well. The figure itself, here he is. Obviously, you guys can see he's got some plastic here. So I'm going to probably take all this out before I dive into looking a little better into this figure. I can already see a little of a paint blotch or paint missing there, a little dot. It's not too big, so it doesn't bother me too much, but at least out of the box looks, this guy looks pretty cool. Alrighty, so got Ken the Eagle here out of the box. I kind of threw all his accessories all over the table. I just showed them to you guys before. You do get quite a bit number of hands. You get some reaching out hands. You get some pointy hands. He can point. Some grasp hands, and you get the same amount, obviously, for both sides. So that's really cool. And obviously, like all the other Storm collectibles, you kind of just pull the current hands out and just kind of pop these back in. So that's really cool. His little boomerang here, that's one he can hold in his hand, as I just showed you earlier. Now the heads, as I showed earlier as well, you got two of them, and you can pull this piece out, the visor piece, and this is, I guess he's kind of looks a bit meaner or upset or angry sort of there, but it's really well done. I love the detail, again, of the bird-like paint. So that's really cool, and you could always just pop this back in. Again, the head, I'll show you in a second, you can just pop out. As far as accessories, as I mentioned earlier as well, the box was actually a good size, well, because you get things like this. This plastic cape, you've got one that's pretty big, kind of sprawled out, and actually looks really cool. I may use this one, but the only thing, obviously, I'm assuming this would take up perhaps a lot of room in your display piece, depending on how you have this set up. And then you get this other cape that's it's also you know, kind of spread out, but this one seems more like a flight or running cape rather than this one. So you do get two of them. It's really cool. He comes in the box, of course, with this cape, kind of, I'm gonna call it his Batman cape. I keep making Batman comparisons here, but this one, he's got it all draped down, and with this cape he can certainly stand pretty well in place, no issues. I showed you earlier, have a bit of a paint defect there, but nothing too bad. And this helmet's pretty similar to the one I just showed you, and as mentioned, you can pull the visor out to get a better look of the expression there. That's more of a neutral expression in comparison to this one, where he looks a bit more angry. But I think these are really well done. Now, in order for you to switch the heads or even take out the cape, you have to remove the head here. So let's put the visor on. You can pop that back in. Really cool. You pull the head off, pretty easy to come off. And of course, then you can switch heads to his angry face here. If I can get that in there. There you go. And now he's got that on. In order to remove the cape, you do have to, again, remove the head. And this is kind of just sitting in place. It kind of just comes off. I was kind of hoping that maybe this guy could be displayed without the cape, but obviously his neck was made longer, I guess, to accommodate the neck part, because right now his neck looks really thin and lanky, and it looks not too good, I guess, like this. Now the uniform here, I'll give you a bit of a better look here. You could see this nice blue with some slight shading, nothing too crazy. Most of the detail you'll find here is on this G belt, and of course the bird logo here. But the costume's really well done. This is, of course, the Storm Collectibles soft plastic to give you some more better range of motion back here. Soft rubber, I guess. Unfortunately, you guys could see there is some red paint from the cape here, but nothing too bad. And I put his one of his accessories here. You can put in his holster. So put that in there for storage if that's how you want to display it. Overall, he does have good postability. You see him there kicking up. You got the knee. You've got the ankle here. No pivot, I would say. There is some toe articulation there. He can kick back probably that much. Of course, this whole bottom part's also soft rubber, so I would just be careful with it. The arms here, you can pretty much do that. You can turn them fully around. You can sort of punch in like that. Elbows. And the hands to turn as well. I do like this wrist this band here that he has on one side. But again, I really wish they could have done perhaps a bit of a better job in with the neck part, because it would have been cool to be able to display this guy without his cape. But to be fair, this character, I think as far as I've always seen him, always has this cape on. You guys see some of the red paint that's rubbed off on the white or light gray uniform. See the belt back there. He can look down, and he can look up. Obviously, make sure that you're careful with the rubber, so that sometimes it gets stuck, right? You don't want to end up breaking anything like that, right? So just gotta be careful and make sure that it's something like that. But he can look up, and the head, again, fully 360. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but again, the neck's a little unsightly because of how small and tiny it is. And again, I'm assuming they did that to better accommodate the capes. This cape itself is really nice. This is, I guess, his resting cape or his standing cape. Really well done. It's a nice little chunk of soft rubber and plastic, blue and gray or white, and then some red here on the inside, and it fits in really well. Again, if you want to use the other capes, you kind of just pop the neck off, and you kind of just sit this in there, and then you pop the head back on. And then that obviously makes the neck look much better, right? It makes it look thicker, more proportionate. One thing I wish Storm Collectibles would have done with this figure is I really wish they would have included a figure stand or action stand, right? Because this guy right now, if you leave him with this cape or this cape here, he'll just fall back because of the weight of the figure, right? You do need to have, if you do plan on putting this guy in some kind of I don't know, running pose or flying pose, you are going to need a figure stand. Right? I mean, you need them for most of them, but I think specifically for this guy, with the cape really weighs him down. But he looks really cool nonetheless. I think that cape kind of reminds me of the Falcon from the Marvel comics. So that's really cool. Of course, you can then also take this cape off, put the other one on. And this one, just trying to get the head back in there. There we go. And again, this one's, I guess, a bit more of a cape there. I kind of like both. I tend to prefer this one just because it gives him more dynamic. This one, maybe you could put him in some kind of maybe flying pose, right? But again, I really do wish Storm Collectibles had included a clear stand with this figure to at least, help you out. I do have some stands in order to be able to pose this guy in some action poses, and you will be able to get him in some good poses. But as I said, because of just the nature of the cape, it's just gonna not want to stand on his own. The good thing is the joints are pretty, they're not too stiff. They weren't too noisy, as you guys could see when I was moving them. So he does keep a good balance as long as you're wearing, as long as he's wearing this cape here. This cape does restrict the movement. Obviously, this is more of a cape where he's kind of just standing there. But this looks really cool. But again, as I said, I may end up using this one. But overall, I'm happy with it, with the only caveat being that, again, my nitpick that I wish Storm Collectibles would have included a stand to go with this guy to allow us to use these two capes better. All right, guys. So in closing here, I am really happy with this figure. I'm glad we're getting, or at least Storm Collectibles is expanding into other properties, right? In addition to Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, King of Fighters, and Tekken. It's really cool to see something like this, which to me, I never thought we'd get a Ken the Eagle figure. As I said, just to show you guys, this was pretty much my full-time introduction into this guy. As I mentioned earlier, Tatsunoko versus Capcom. I am aware of this show that came out ages ago in Japan, and I guess here in the US as Battle of the Planets or Gatchaman. But this was my first full-time exposure to Ken the Eagle and a lot of cool characters. So you guys see Ken the Eagle here. He is pretty much the poster boy. At least they framed him as a poster boy for Tatsunoko. Because they have him facing off Ryu. You see him back here. And of course, I'm probably going to steal this pose to display him here, where he's kind of pointing at you with this awesome artwork. And this was a game that I believe was out on the arcades and only came out on Wii. So my understanding is that this would be a bit of a licensing nightmare to release. So this is a game that's stuck on Wii. But it was cool to see Ken the Eagle here, and I'll finally have a figure from Storm Collectibles. To deviate a little, it would be really cool if Storm Collectibles would actually take some of these Tatsunoko characters. Like you see here, Ken the Eagle, of course, but it would be, again, you see Kasarn or Kashan here. You've got June the Swan, but this one would be really cool to get a Storm Collectibles figure of. Hurricane Polymar, which I thought he looked really cool as well. That would be, I think, awesome figure. But nonetheless, again, it's cool that we now have a Ken the Eagle figure. So pretty happy with it overall with the way this guy came out. As we close, as far as comparisons to other Storm Collectible figures, so we'll stand this guy here. Hopefully he won't fall. Here he is next to Paul Phoenix from the Tekken line. Of course, if he wants to stand without falling. Another Tekken figure here. Here he is, how he measures up next to King, again from Tekken 7. So I really do like the look of that, even though they're whole different properties and don't really mix up too well. But I think that looks really cool. So moving those aside, here we go next to Mortal Kombat. The Mortal Kombat figures, I do feel like they're a bit undersized in comparison. So this guy is way taller, but doesn't bug me too much. I think for me anyway, here he is next to Kung Lao. We'll move Reptile out of the way, but next to Kung Lao and Liu Kang, I think he looks okay, even though this guy is a bit taller. So we'll move Mortal Kombat cast aside. Who else do we got here? Here he is next to Homaru from, of course, Samurai Showdown. And again, he is much taller, but Homaru is in a bit of a crouching pose or a more dynamic pose. So he may look much smaller. But I think, again, I don't mind the mixture of the properties. It does look really cool for me. So Here we go with another one, another SNK property, Orochi Iori. And I think that works. Again, Iori is in a bit of a crouch down position, but I think that works for me really well. So we'll move the SNK guys aside. And here is next to Axel from Streets of Rage 4. Again, Axel being a little shorter, but I think that for me, that definitely works. You know, I don't mind that so much. And then lastly, here he is next to the big men, I should say, Zangief and Balrog. This is such an awesome figure. I mean, both of these are really awesome, and I think that looks really cool. So yeah, I mean, definitely, I think if you're into the Storm Collectible figures, this one's definitely worth it. I do wish that, again, Storm Collectibles would have included action figure stand with it to allow you, you know, not to have to go out of your way to get a stand from somewhere else, especially for the price, right? Everything's going up in price so much, but overall, the figure itself is pretty cool. So I am really happy with it. As I said, I hope that maybe Storm Collectibles, by some chance, will be able to give us more Tatsunoko figures, you know, like Hurricane Polymar. That would be really cool. But as far as this guy here, he does fit in really well. You could see him standing there looking all pretty badass. But yeah, very happy with it. Anyway, if you made it to the end, thank you so much for your very valuable time. If I missed anything, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, thank you so much for your very valuable time. Take care.